fucking Shaitan. Of course. On brand for him. Slakia for that. Satan's being a bitch. But anyways, fuck, dude. Slakia. But anyways, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah, Korash, which in the Hebrew is Kal, Halal. In ancient Paleo Hebrew, all praises is Kal Halal. So that would be Kal, Halal, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah, Kodash. Salutations to the apostles and elders of GMS, Great Millstone, who rule well, and Shalom to the rest of the hopeful. Salutations and Shalom to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well, and to the Akim out there spreading this truth like wildfire in all truthfulness and in all sincerity, and Shalom to the rest of the hopeful elect out there. I hope this video is edifying. Alright, this is gonna be an MOT to the B update. How transdermal microchips could revolutionize prison security. This is an article by Corrections 1, and it's from July 15th, 2025. Invisible tracking and real-time alerts could prevent escapes and save lives inside correctional facilities. And this video posted on Twitter by one of my followers on there, and Twitter is Ahabamoth is back, by the way. I'm not trying to promote myself. I'm just I post a lot of information on there, and followers do too. But anyways, it's all to edify the sheep. But anyways, I'm pumped because I just did a video going into basically why Esau Elon, that's what I call him, why Esau Elon is building AI data center, AI center, basically what it is, neural training center in Memphis, Tennessee, of all places. Go check that one out. But anyways, invisible tracking and real-time alerts could prevent escapees and save lives inside correctional. Yeah, I think I just read that. Correctional facilities. So basically, they're promoting the mark of the beast, and it's probably where you're going to be required to have it first. They're probably going to require it for commissary first or some shit. And if you're flight risk, you're required to get it. I could see them doing that, and then flight risk, or you're in there like, for some like, murder, for example. First that, and then trickle it down to basically anyone who gets locked up. But if implemented in prisons, transdermal microchips could change the way facilities track inmates due to their ability to provide instant location updates, detect medical emergencies before they escalate, and reduce the risk of escapes by eliminating blind spots in supervision. And you could just see that they were, if you got the eyes to see it, you could just see. I think even like anyone could see that, like something like this, that they were gonna come with, they were gonna come with this solution. You don't want them to escape, chip them. The article is based on research conducted as a part of the The California, I believe it's California, Posts Command College. It is a future study of a particular emerging issue of relevance to law enforcement. Its purpose is not to predict the future, rather to project a variety of possible scenarios useful for planning and action in anticipation of the emerging landscape facing policing organizations. The article was created using the futures forecasting process of Command College and its outcomes. Managing the future means influencing it, creating, constraining, and adapting to emerging trends and events in a way that optimizes the opportunities and minimizes the threats of relevance to the profession. Key takeaways: transdermal microchips can prevent prison escapes in real time. Microchip technology provides immediate alerts when inmates enter unauthorized areas, enabling staff to intervene before an escape occurs. Hey, 1044, 144. Call out Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakak. Hey, signs. Biometric signs and omens. This is real. Biometric monitoring improves inmate medical response. Real-time health tracking can detect medical emergencies such as cardiac events or overdoses before symptoms are visible, reducing in-custody deaths and liability. Automated inmate tracking reduces human error in corrections. By replacing manual logs with digital monitoring, facilities can eliminate errors in head counts, security checks, and medical documentation. Security and privacy must be balanced in prison technology upgrades. Implementing transdermal microchips requires strict data encryption, limited access, and clear policies to protect inmate privacy and comply with legal standards. Correctional facilities must modernize outdated tracking systems. This is all by design. Manual head counts and the legacy tools are no longer sufficient. A multi-stakeholder approach is essential to implement smart, ethical surveillance solutions in corrections. And, they may go to the Supreme Court, and like Biden said, you will rule on this. Can a microscopic tag be placed inside someone, can the government require you to get that? There's actual discussion of that. Back in 2006, he said it. You will rule on it. To Justice Roberts. And guess who's the Supreme Court justice still? So there you go. And they could rule on this. In fact, they would rule on it, and the elites picked them and picked these figureheads, including the Supreme Court justices. And so, knowing that, and knowing that this is a part of their agenda, the Supreme Court is going to clear the way. By Kathleen N. Ratcliffe, Sergeant Thomas checked his watch. It was 21:07 hours on March 1st, 2025. Just 53 minutes left in a shift, marking nearly 11 years inside the same correctional facility. He moved along familiar hallways, confirming door security, assisting newer officers with their counts, and scanning cell windows, following a routine embedded over time. Each step was predictable. Verify presence, look for chest movements, confirm authenticity. Repetition that trained his eyes to detect anything out of place. Most nights, the process was uneventful. But not this one. the radio cracked. Quote unquote bad count, emergency count, all units. We count all units. An hour later, alarms confirmed it. An inmate serving a life sentence, like they might get people like this, mandate that first. You know, mandate the chip for, you know, the C-hip, like brothers like to say, for them first. Serving a life sentence, you know, algo to the rhythm. You know, we gotta you know, dodge that. Serving a life sentence for because they aim for shit like that. It's been shown. But anyways, an inmate serving a life sentence for a double homicide had escaped. The facility entered immediate lockdown. Search efforts were exhaustive. The escapee was located 4 days later, following a multi-agency manhunt costing nearly $2 million. In the aftermath, internal reviews followed. Trust in the institution eroded, and staff accountability actions ensued. What if this incident had been prevented? What if the moment the inmate breached his cell, a silent alert had been issued, delivering real-time location data and enabling swift intervention? What if technology had addressed the gaps left by human error and operational fatigue? By 2035, you know this shit gonna be powered by AI, yo. By 2035, correctional facilities have changed. Inmates now wear subdermal microchips, small embedded devices that continually transmit location and health data in real time. And you know they gonna put your commissary on that shit too. When an inmate named Daniels attempted to exploit a shift change by impersonating staff and moving towards a secure exit, the system responded immediately. A silent alert triggered the moment his movement deviated from expected patterns. Officers knew his location before he reached the first secure door. The response team intercepted him within minutes. No lockdown was needed. No manhunts. Operations resumed without disruption. Incidents that once resulted in multi-million-dollar escapes and system-wide scrutiny now generate only brief operational reports. The microchip system acts as a continuous, invisible security net, instantly identifying unauthorized movement and alerting staff before a breach becomes critical. But its benefits extend beyond security. In one recent case, an inmate's biometrics indicated cardiac distress before he noticed symptoms. Medical personnel reached his cell and intervened within minutes, preventing a fatal outcome. In 2025, the same situation would have likely have ended in tragedy. So see how they're promoting it? Like, look, these situations can be prevented if we implement this MOTB system. Correctional staff still conducts rounds. Head counts still occur, but the human errors that once led to escapes and preventable deaths have been mitigated by technology that doesn't fatigue, doesn't overlook anomalies, and doesn't miss a silent signal. Sometimes it takes a system failure to drive innovation. In this case, that innovation has transformed correctional operations. And it's first going to be at the prisons, then, you know, the county jails, you know, federal prisons and state prisons, county jails, you know, you can see it. Also, I want to bring up, you know, it'll probably be implemented, you know, in state hospitals, you know, going down the line, state hospitals, down to your mental hospital, to prevent escapes there. But anyways, the problem, continuing on, that's basically lockup just for mental health reasons, quote unquote. But the problem with inmate tracking systems, correctional facilities have long depended on outdated methods such as periodic head counts, fixed surveillance cameras with blind spots, and paper logbooks to track prisoner movement and detect when something is amiss. Human mistakes, though, have historically undermined even the most robust prison security systems, sometimes leading to inmate escapes. One remarkable case unfolded at Clinton Correctional Facility, Dannemora, something like that, New York, in 2015. A pair of inmates manipulated staff, exploited blind spots in their surveillance system, and evaded capture for 3 weeks. The brazen breakout revealed critical weaknesses in the facility's defenses. And you know they're gonna implement this shit in these fucking ICE detention centers, aka concentration camps. You already know. Their brazen breakout revealed critical weaknesses in the facility's defenses, triggered a massive search, and became a media sensation that captivated the nation. The subsequent investigation revealed that 20 correctional employees were found to be at fault, leading to disciplinary actions, resignations, and increased security scrutiny. Sadly, the Clinton facility's experience is not an isolated case. In 2022, a 2022 Bureau of Justice Statistics report found. Oh, one more thing, they probably gonna Never mind. I'm gonna keep reading. Report that found that over 31% of all U.S. prison escapees were due to human error, with faulty head counts and staff miscommunication listed as the primary causes. Notable escapes and incidents include, but are not limited to, on December 2nd, 2024, Cesar Hernandez, serving a sentence of 80 years to life for first-degree murder, escaped from a prison transport van upon arrival at Kern County Superior Courthouse in Delano, California. Kern County Superior Courthouse in Delano, California. Hernandez managed to evade custody, promoting a massive search, and as of this article, has not been apprehended. On January 6, 2025, 35-year-old inmate Santiago Duran simply walked away from a low-security worksite at Julius Klein Conservation Camp in Los Angeles, California. Staff discovered his escape hours later, only after an emergency count which significantly delayed the response. In September 2023, 21-year-old inmate Jackie Brown escaped from Iberia Parish Jail in Louisiana by scaling the wall in the recreation yard. Authorities believe the facility's security lapses and slow response times enabled his escape. Brown was apprehended hours later by the Iberia Parish's Sheriff's Office, but the incident raised concerns about the need for improved tracking systems. Despite billions spent on corrections annually, current tracking systems remain outdated compared to other high security institutions. Prison escapes are not as rare as the public may believe. According to the U.S. Bureau of Justice Statistics, says no internet connection. But according to the Satan the motherfucker. But according to the U.S. Bureau of Justice Statistics, 2,231 inmates escaped from state or federal prisons in 2019, alone demonstrating a persistent issue in correctional security. Given the frequency and severity of these incidents, it's imperative to examine the existing tracking systems within correctional facilities to understand their limitations and explore potential improvements. Deficits in correctional security. Even in today's digital age, numerous correctional facilities still rely on outdated manual processes and paper records to monitor inmates. This results in human error, security vulnerabilities, and delayed responses during emergencies. At the same time, existing electronic monitoring tools have limitations, making it clear that the current tracking systems are failing to keep up with modern correctional needs. Dr. Matthew DeMichel, something like that, a senior research sociologist specializing in criminal specializing in criminal justice technology, explains that quote-unquote electronic monitoring devices are prone to false positive alerts that overwhelmed corrections officials can be circumvented despite being labeled quote-unquote tamper-proof and suffer from technical glitches that interfere with users' daily activities, quote-unquote. Currently, in almost all current custody settings, officers conduct routine manual head counts multiple times per day, but errors and record keeping, missed head counts, and distractions can allow an escape to go unnoticed for hours. Officers also make rounds throughout the facility, but blind spots, overworked staff, and understanding can lead to lapses in observation. Also, inmates who understand the facility routine can take advantage of these weak points to escape detection. That's exactly what happened in August 2023 when 8 inmates at the Curry County Adult Detention Center in Clovis, New Mexico exploited staff shortages and procedural gaps to escape undetected. Officers failed to conduct regular pod checks, allowing the inmates to spend approximately 7 hours cutting a hole in the roof without detection. These escapes led to a massive manhunt, costing local law enforcement agencies substantial resources and highlighting critical vulnerabilities in the facility's security protocols. Despite technological advances, numerous correctional institutions continue using outdated methods like paper records and voice communications to monitor inmates' locations. Practices that often lead to errors. And hold on, I think. And vital details being missed during crisis situations. While security cameras exist in certain prisons, the footage generally serves as a post-incident investigation tool instead of an active prevention measure for detecting potential security threats in the moment. RFID ankle wrist monitors that are typically used for house arrest and parolees tracking if an individual remains within a set perimeter. However, they are easily removed, tampered with, or damaged, making them unreliable for high-risk offenders. GPS tracking devices with more advanced radio frequency detection capabilities can provide real-time location data and can set exclusion zones, such as preventing a sex offender from entering the school zone. However, battery life, signal loss, and lack of real-time intervention means the inmate could still escape before authorities react. Oh yeah, and they gonna chip the sex offenders too. That's gonna be one of their solutions. Some parole and probation programs have begun using mobile applications that track location via GPS and require biometric verification. While this technology is more flexible, it depends on offenders voluntarily complying, making it unreliable in high security correctional settings. With all of this, it is clear that current security measures are not enough. Despite announcements and tracking technology, escapes still happen, delayed responses put lives at risk, and human error continues to be a major factor in security failures. More is needed to bridge these gaps. Something that offers real-time monitoring, eliminates manual mistakes, and enhances overall safety. One emerging solution that could provide these capabilities is transdermal microchips, which are designed to track movement, detect distress, and automate security alerts before incidents escalate. What are transdermal microchips? Transdermal microchips are small devices that can be implanted under the skin. They are designed to track movement, monitor health, and send automatic alerts in real time. They use RFID and biometric sensors to provide constant feedback without relying on manual monitoring. Even though this technology is still new to correctional settings, similar technologies are already being used in high security environments, military operations, and medical monitoring. If implemented in prisons, transdermal microchips could change the way facilities track inmates due to their ability to provide instant location updates, detect medical emergencies before they escalate, and reduce the risk of escapees by eliminating blind spots and supervision. The debate over transdermal microchips as a correctional tool has sparked strong opinions from legal scholars. See how they pushing it? Policymakers, correctional leaders, and civil rights advocates with compelling views, arguments both in support of and objecting to their use. Supporters, why we need microchips. And this is how they do it. It's a thesis, antithesis, synthesis, Hegelian dialects. How they do it. Support how they push agendas. Supporters, why we need microchips. Legal researcher James Boazzi argues that transdermal microchips represent the only true tamper-proof method of inmate tracking. Unlike RFID bracelets or GPS devices, microchips cannot be removed or disabled by the wearer. Did you hear that for you scoffers out there? Microchips cannot be removed or disabled by the wearer. You know, once again, for you scoffers out there, you know, that want to say, well, I can take it out, to try to say that it ain't the mark of the beast because I can take it out. Here's for you dumbasses out there. Once again, microchips cannot be removed or disabled by the wearer, and enable real-time location monitoring without risk of manipulation. David P. Mulholland, Director of Correctional Technology at the National Institute of Justice, emphasizes that the technology goes beyond security. Microchips offer an unparalleled ability to monitor movement, detect medical distress, and even track contraband circulation. He states, quote unquote, "This is not just about security, it's about monitoring how we manage corrections." Former warden and security consultant Michael Johnson reinforces this point, noting that correctional systems spend millions of dollars on escape manhunts. Quote unquote, "Imagine if instead we had immediate pinpoint location data," quote unquote, he says, quote unquote, "the cost savings and public safety benefits are undeniable." Critics, ethical, logical, and operational concerns. Even with the advantages of transdermal microchips, issues of privacy and civil rights remain. According to legal experts on privacy rights, Emma Carrison, quote unquote, "the fundamental problem with implanting microchips in inmates is consent. Even convicted offenders retain bodily autonomy under the 8th Amendment. This could set a dangerous precedent for forced state surveillance." And the Supreme Court's probably going to rule on that, but they've made unconstitutional rulings many times and justified that shit. In the Duke Law and Technology Review, John Pishko says incarceration is the next frontier of mass surveillance, and it is. Oh yeah, quote unquote. Microchip tracking raises serious secure concerns about mission creep. What starts as a security measure in prisons could become widespread government tracking beyond correctional facilities. And he's right, because it's going to be mandated for everybody, rich and poor, free and bond. Which bond would be like those of y'all that are locked up. Which, if you're locked up under the 13th Amendment, your ass a slave, like chattel slave. They own you. Full conviction of a crime, except full conviction of a crime. So under the Constitution, you're a slave. It's constitutional. And what a master can do, because they may argue that, maybe what goes into that. If you're someone's slave, they could do whatever the fuck they want with you, and they say no cruel and usual punishments, but at the same time, Esau is getting more draconian with it. But yeah, Revelation 13 and 16, "And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads." Verse 17, "And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name." And there's the point. But also I want to say this. You could easily see Trump implementing this in federal prisons at first, and then using the takeovers of these cities to implement it in these cities, like he's talked about doing the LA, LA, then talked about doing it to New York City. Trump may when he does a federal takeover of a city, they not going along with this shit. Trump may mandate it, by executive order. May mandate that shit. But yeah, you could definitely see Trump pushing this shit making it happen on some tough on crime shit, man. We gotta prevent prison escapes. But anyways, continuing on. And first, I could see them doing it at these ICE detention facilities, aka concentration camps. But anyways, continuing on, sentencing law and policy expert Alex Berman says there are too many unknowns. Will the data be secure? Will it be used only for location tracking? Or will it expand to monitoring inmates' thoughts, emotions, and medical conditions without consent, quote unquote? And it will, because the Most High Power Yahweh wants Slakia, slip in tongue, not in heart, aka mine. Esau wants to be as the Most High Power Yahweh. They want to be like the Most High, man. They're Lucifer. That Lucifer is a man. The enlightened ones. When you go into the meaning of the word Lucifer, it means light bearer. And when you go into the meaning of the word Illuminati, it means the enlightened ones. So Lucifer, Illuminati, same thing. But anyways, Isaiah 14:12, how art thou fallen from heaven, and it's a high estate. It's a high estate. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Verse 13, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High Power Yahweh. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. Verse 14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. This is the pride of Esau. You could. This is their mindset. You could just see it. And I'm gonna read on down because it's gonna show that Lucifer is a man. Verse 15, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. Verse 16, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? They rule. Hey, these devils is ruling. These devils, they the hammer of the whole earth. You know what I'm saying? These rulers of Babylon, or kings of Babylon. Verse 17. Oh, and the apostle Tahar, Elder Apostle Tahar brought out how Donald Trump, he broke down how Donald Trump, he's that king of Babylon. But it also is talking about the elites. Verse 17, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners. Hey, that even goes into that. Open not the house of his prisoners. Only a man can have prisoners. Destroy cities and make the world as a wilderness. So it's not talking about the spiritual demon Satan for you so-called Christians out there. It's talking about a man, Esau Edom. And more specifically the elites of Esau Edom. And Trump being this major figurehead. But anyways, let me keep going. Yo, is this the most effective technology for corrections? Despite the use of RFID tags, GPS tracking, and biometric systems, escapes still happen. Response times are slow and security gaps exist. The question isn't just whether we need better tracking technology, it's whether transdermal microchips are the best option for correctional facilities today. And their justification, peace and safety, right? This will bring about peace and safety. That's a precept. And then that sudden destruction is gonna come. Let me get it's in 1 Thessalonians, I believe. First Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 3. For when they shall say, peace and safety, the sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. And ultimately, what are they pushing? That this is gonna make shit safer, right? More peaceful. Exactly. And then what's gonna come next after the mark of the beast is mandated? The missiles, which is gonna turn this place into a lake of fire. From bird's eye view, or from chariot's eye view, even higher, so-called UFO eye view, America is gonna look like a huge lake of fire. But anyways, continuing on. Right now, some prisons use RFID bands, GPS ankle monitors, and biometric scanners, but all have flaws. RFID tracking only works in designated areas. It can be blocked by walls and interference. GPS ankle monitors need constant power, and if batteries die or signals drop, tracking stops. Biometric scanners require inmates to pass through checkpoints so they don't track movement in real time. Transdermal microchips can fix these issues. Unlike external devices, they can't be removed, lost, or blocked, and they provide live and they provide keep sending me that live tracking, instantly alerting officers if an inmate moves into an unauthorized area. But just cause it's the most advanced option doesn't mean it's the right choice for every facility. Introducing microchip tracking would require a major investment in software training and cybersecurity. Big beautiful bill, the funding that they have passed for semiconductor chips, which include those US made and shit. That's why they're doing it. But let me continue. But so do escapes, delayed medical responses, and preventable in-custody deaths, and those add up fast. Every time an inmate escapes, agencies are forced to put millions into search operations, emergency response teams, and legal expenses. A single escape, like the 2015 Clinton Correctional Facility breakout, cost New York taxpayers $23 million in just 23 days. And with over 2,200 reported escapes from U.S. prisons in a single year, it's clear these incidents aren't just rare one-off occurrences. Beyond escapes, delayed medical responses also contribute significantly to correctional system costs. In emergencies such as heart attacks, overdoses, or suicide attempts. Every second is critical. In California, the use of telepsychiatry saved the Department of Correction approximately $850 per inmate and transportation costs. Man, what the fuck? Satan. Totaling $4 million in savings. If that level of efficiency can be achieved through virtual care alone, the potential impact of real-time biometric alerts is even greater. And this article promotes the fuck out of chipping inmates. Basically, it's what it does. And you could see a Supreme Court case where they try to argue like if this should be legal, or if this is constitutional. They bring all this up, but this, Justice, you can see. But anyways, I know how the elites, they got shit on lock like that. They gonna justify it. But anyways, I want to give all praises, and they will eventually justify it, most likely soon, because we in them days. But anyways, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostle. Well, can't keep forgetting. Slacking, my bad. Salutations to the apostles and elders of GMS who rule well. And to the Akim out there, spreading this truth like wildfire in all truthfulness and in all sincerity. And shalom to the rest of the hopeful elect out there. Shalom, stay strong. Abad Babal, dead to Babylon. Abad La Adawamium, dead to these Edomites. Abad La Gawayim, dead to these heathens. Abad La Ayabyam Nawa, which means death to our enemies in the ancient, true, and Paleo Hebrew. Shalom, stay strong. Abad Babal, Wayasha Allah forever. We're almost out of here. Shalom, endurance to the end. Shalom. Fear the elect, you will endure unto the end. Shalom.